Yo, what is good, my anime people? What is good, yo? So, with one of the best shows out right now, uh, freaking JoJo Bizarre, the most bizarre adventures. I I'm loving this pace. Like they're kind of being very obvious with the fact that they've ended almost every single fight within like 2 episodes. So I'm not sure if that's like, the format for just these lower tier characters that they shouldn't need too much time put into them in the sense of just like they're not that important. Like the fight that happened wasn't so important that if we didn't see the kid fight that fight, that he would be considered weak or anything like that. I mean, I am kind of thinking that the one of the more stronger people too is the blonde guy who was already he's been a member with the guy who's the leader of this group in general for quite a bit. So if that is the case, I thought it was interesting that they chose to, well, I guess they didn't choose to, but the story itself had him being the blonde big brother to the guy with the little bomber that he kind of already had, but was the worst one ever. So I think that would be a cool like callback to just like hear him talk about it. But as you can see, this kid with little bomber he's pretty much a G, man. Like he's been through so much, and to think that uh or to think that he would even bring up that loser that did him dirty like that. I mean, he didn't even go back to like finish him off or anything like that. He let it happen, and he felt stupid for allowing that guy to take advantage of him, but at the same time, um, that guy who did that and robbing people, that's only gonna work so many times when it comes down to how many people he can actually use to get away with that. So that's kind of my interest is uh, why he did that, but also I could understand. I understood kind of what they were going for is the guy had just done something. He had just robbed an old lady and like beat her senseless. And what he wanted out of all of this is for one of those kids that have nothing, that already steal, that already have a bad reputation, to go out there and take the blame for him simply because he was scared. And that's only from the perspective of the guy who actually spent the time there and stuff like that. That's where I'm getting that from. So if that's the case, we can come to kind of figure out that, oh my God, let's get grabbed. We can kind of figure out that he probably has done this more than once. Like this is probably a recurring thing, and whatever kid kind of um, fits the bill at the moment, like whatever kid he believes is going to just do whatever he says. Uh, it's kind of the kid that he keeps the closest by him, which is really sad to say, but I mean, we pretty much see all of it this week's episode that as soon as it happened, he even turned other people against him by saying he had some type of a disease. So even those people wouldn't like necessarily anybody who was capable of knowing anything to help him out, to like even call out the guy for using him and stuff like that. They were all against him because they saw his eye, and the only one that knew about his mother, who rest her soul, um, she was the victim of abuse in the family, and the father said that the only reason why her eyes looked like that and the reason why she was dying from her eyes, which it's funny that he believed his father's words over, or like, just listening to what the doctor said. It just goes to show you that intelligent level was never like necessarily there. He was somebody that wasn't taught certain things, and it made sense why certain characters wanted him to go to school and stuff. So it had this very, very homey feel this week's episode, just because of all the stuff they were going through to pretty much make this kid, um, you know, like let him rely on himself and not others was to be hard on him. And it seemingly is working out a lot better now for him because of the people he's around. So to see all that and then to just see him be badass. And I also want to point out that I think he's one of the more powerful people unless everybody had done the same thing as him, which it didn't seem like that with the guy who was telling who can see like the past, sorry. The police officer who joined up who could see the past whenever things happen, he just do the rewind. He didn't necessarily get a narration from the narrator saying that he had done the test and got his stand, including since it said he got his stand through the test without the knowledge of the guy who feeds him, and I'm talking about the younger kid who gets feed by the gang members and stuff. It was weird to me to just see um, announce that without it seemingly having a big purpose, and I think that purpose being he's just somehow naturally much better like in those fast situations. Because imagine him being in that situation going because once that stand was defeated, the one that could like move through shadows, he didn't necessarily just die. He didn't just disappear forever, you know what I mean? Like, or the guy who created it. So, for some reason, his stand, whenever he uses his, it has the effect of not taking Oh, I'm in the boss area. Holy crap. It doesn't take damage for the actual host, is from what I could tell. So, uh, no matter what he did or no matter who hit him, it wouldn't matter because of his body wasn't affected by his stand, or because it was the way it was, it doesn't affect him necessarily as bad. Him losing his stand's life is like getting a paper cut comparing to like Little Bomber or something, you know. So that was the weird part of that, and I think it also just plays a big role in my opinion of how raw that kid is by passing that, even though we don't get to see it. I mean, he could have had like 17 people that he sacrificed just to be able to do it or something crazy, you know? But at the same time, it feels like he should have done something relatively, crazy to get out of a situation like that. And clearly, his stand manifested then and there when that all like transpired. So, really interested to see what you guys believe on that aspect. Just like, what do you actually think happened um, to him in the sense of that battle to become like to pass the test and stuff? How do you think he passed it? And do you think he passed it without a stand or something? Like he actually passes it the normal way or something, which seemed impossible. But he had no one that he really trusted, so no one could get that close to him with the lighter. He would just beat the crap out of him. He's a very vocal person. So, with that being said, guys, this episode was very hype. Just seeing Little Feet have the advantage the way he does, like they always usually do. Sorry if I'm standing still. I gotta do something while doing this. But even though he was standing on him and like breaking his bones, and then even put him in a freaking pit with a or like a bottle with a spider to fight. Super hype. Um, it kind of makes me wonder just what else that guy has done to other people, and I think that's another thing JoJo does so good at is making these characters seem so disgusting and vile that you imagine that they've done these things multiple times. Because we saw the car, for example. I mean, but this guy kind of had a feeling he knew everything a spider would do to a human body, or what it just does in general to bodies. So he just seemed like a freak. Um, I just don't understand if we're going to see anything crazy like that uh further on because I mean these other guys they said they're great at assassinating, and if they are, what if they know how to forge certain signatures, or like they got an email from the boss? What if they sent that? Because there's a guy who's really good at using the computer. Uh, Sorry. All right, making sure that shit, all my stuff's taken care of. So, but what I was going with, like what he's doing, and just think about like the people said he was the useless one. You know what I mean? Like his crew of people look at his ability to shrink, and even after shrinking, he supposedly can like track the person that he shrunk. They said his ability was the useless one. You know, like you guys got to remember that these guys think so highly of their powers that being able to shrink himself or shrink anything and then unshrink it is useless. Okay? Like, that seems actually nuts to me. So, whatever these guys have, they have already like been built up quite well in my opinion, in the sense of I just want to know what they're going to have. But this message that we get from the boss, quote unquote, oh crap, this thing that we get kind of puts the feeling that it's like, way it just feels weirdly fake. And not only does it feel fake, for some reason Geo absolutely knew that it was about to happen. He's like, you're about to get a call from the boss like instantly. So regardless of what we're doing right now, we need to just be ready to make our next move for the boss. And I'm just like, huh? I'm not like that. Even the whole entire cast that he's fighting with, that he like actually battles with, is like, what is this man talking about, bro? Like that makes no sense. The boss has never given him anything ever before. Um, what if this is a way for him to maybe learn about one of these guys? Because him and two other people, he already knows about the rewind guy, but him and the other guy that we haven't seen anything about is going with him. So if that's the case, this could be a very smart move on Geo because he knows almost everybody's stand besides Little Bomber, which, um, if anything, he can take a good guess that it's strong enough to protect himself against whatever, the little kid tells him. He literally probably told him about being shrunk and all this stuff and that he defeated him. Unless he's as stupid as I think he might be, and he literally even told him how he did it and how Little Bomber works and all that stuff, like going in the sewers and everything. So you got to remember that there's a reason why some of these characters show off like their not so intelligent sides, and that's a reason why. Because all of a sudden, Jotaro is in a much better position to be able to do whatever he wants freely with knowing so much about the stands of the people who know about his stand, So that's just how I see things like coming off as when he puts things into perspective of like, oh yeah, the boss is gonna call someone I don't know about, someone you don't know about, anyone knows about, but I know he's about to call and or contact us somehow, and he does. So it should all be a red flag for them. But of course, since it's the boss and they've gotten nothing from him, it's more like a holy crap moment. We gotta just we can't deal with Geo. He's a freak of nature. So let's just worry about whatever the boss is talking about. Um, so I thought it was pretty funny. But other than that, man, like tiny feet, pretty broken. Little Bomber, even more broken. And the kid is not like he may be the dumbest one supposedly out of the group, but he still just went in this episode by finding out that he can track like carbon dioxide or something along those lines, and or that he wanted to, set fire to the car, and that was what he was really like shooting at with Little Bomber, to start the fire slowly and then let it build up, So there's a lot of things that happened just in this week alone that gives me the hope of, seeing more and more of these outplayed maneuvers, because if the dumbest character is outplaying these guys, like they're in a rough spot, man. I don't really see them, assassinating some people who their dumbest guy has just became one of their, it's still smarter than one of your characters who has quite a bit of experience with his stand. But yeah, I truly did enjoy this. I don't know when JoJo's gonna drop something I don't enjoy. You'll definitely know because I'll tell you because it doesn't seem likely. And if that is ever to happen, it will definitely be quite a big thing on my channel for the title anyway. So with all that being said, at least we're getting back into the main character. I think this is the first time I've ever seen this long of a side character of recent JoJo's. Like, the diamonds are unbreakable. He really didn't stay off the screen. Like, even when we were watching other characters that we were just learning about, he would sometimes just show up. Like he would just be there, a part of it all. But in this series, Geo doesn't even really need to be used because he's already a mystery to the fans as to where his story's going. So to build up all of these amazing characters around him first seems like an absolute dream at this point because I love so far all of them, and even the blonde guy who beats the crap out of the kid because he's the one who actually recruited him. I never would imagine, but after seeing what the kid's been through and how they still treat each other, it all makes 100% sense that that's even the relationships that he's been in. Um, but I mean, this guy really actually seems like his older brother, so I like the dynamics that they're already trying to build upon. So, with that being said, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure you drop a subscribe and you share out the video. I found out that just sharing the video massively changes the outcome on the YouTube algorithms. Like, I just started shooting up. I mean, unless my videos just all of a sudden just got a million times better and people love me for it. For some reason, everybody's finding my videos, and I think it's thanks to you guys. So thank you so much for all the support. Your boy's gonna be out here grinding. I got one more video that I want to drop, and that is Index. So I will be working on that as soon as this video is done, and I already start uploading it. That video will start to already be started. So. Make sure you subscribe, and if you enjoy that, you will be getting that very soon. Sorry these are later uploads, but I will get back to you guys as soon as possible. So with that, everybody, I hope you have an awesome day, night, morning, whatever it is for you, and I will talk to you in the next one. All right, peace.